The New Zealanders have been furiously opposed by the Jaffa enemy. All one day too at Ayun Kara, they were fighting with the bayonet, charging and being charged. Ayun Kara is the place where Samson fought with the jawbone of an ass. I'll bet the NZs found the cold steel a deadlier weapon.
Following the Battle of Beersheba in Gaza, the Allies began pursuing the Ottoman forces north. With the Ottoman 7th and 8th Army withdrawing, cutting the communications between the two became the next objective. And the New Zealanders' role in this was to capture the village of Ayun Kara. Having encountered no resistance for the last few days, the New Zealand troops believed Ayun Kara's capture would be uneventful.
We were not expecting anything much, but what we actually got into was our best scrap. We were outnumbered 10-1. We were pretty tired by this period, and in front of our lines were 400 odd dead counted. Ayun Kara. That would be our best scrap.
Not far from here is where the Kiwis ran into the rear guard of the Ottoman forces. They had twice our numbers, they held the high ground and took the Kiwis by surprise. By rights it should have been a slaughter, and in many ways it was, with 49 Kiwis now buried here in Ramleh Cemetery. But despite the odds, the New Zealanders still managed to turn the tide.
The enemy were not more than 2 chains in front of us, 3 lines of them, and we could see the buttons on their uniforms.
The casualties were something awful, and the most astounding thing is that any of us are left to tell the tale. When we got a view of the enemy retreating, we fully realised what we'd been up against, and I don't think I'm exaggerating a bit when I say there were 8 of them to every man of us.
Through a series of daring actions, the New Zealanders managed to win high ground of their own, but only after throwing every available soldier, be they trooper, cook or batman, into the battle. And even though they balanced the scales, the battle was far from won. That deciding moment came in one of the most remarkable assaults of the campaign, on a tiny outcrop known as Red Knoll. Red Knoll was a machine gun strongpoint, preventing the New Zealanders from advancing. With nothing left in reserve, the brigade commander called upon his old regiment, the Wellington Mounted Rifles, to do what they could do. And that call was answered by this man, Captain Arthur Herrick. Captain Herrick mounted his horse and charged his men across 2.5 km of open ground towards Red Knoll. And remarkably, despite coming under heavy fire, lost no men during the crossing. The Kiwis then rushed the position on foot, and after more fierce hand-to-hand fighting, took the knoll and used the Ottomans' own machine guns on their enemy, thus turning the tide of the battle. The exact number of losses we suffered during the Battle of Ayun Kara is not known, but as the fighting was conducted at close range and in the open, it was high. For me to be here to walk amongst the fallen and knowing the men that fought over this ground is a huge, huge honour and privilege. Words can't describe how it feels. A lot of people don't even know what happened over here, what these men went through. That's what's often said, this is the forgotten war. But I'm here today to let them know that they haven't been forgotten, to pay our respects to every single one of them that fought over here, and to honour their sacrifices they made for our country. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.